Ladies and gentlemen, episode 26. Episode 26 imekuja na viboko. Wadau, imekuja na viboko. Ndio mimi huyu nimeshikwa matai, ninachapwa viboko kwa sababu karibu. Hey. Karibu nitoroke bana. Hey, things are not easy. Hapana. Last time I was blaming adulthood, lakini hapana. There's no need of blaming it again. This is me. This is my problem. This is my issue. I need to work on it. Hey, tuko Saturday na kijana hajarekodi kitu. Nafaa kupigwa vizuri. But nimepiga reminder ingine hapa mpaka ikabidi sasa nitafute time ya kurecord. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of the Cordial Podcast, and we are on episode 26, another journey to reach 50 now. We are on track to reach 50 because I know by 50 itakuwa close to 1 year. And yes, lazima tuanze vizuri, otherwise tutafika aje 100 bana. But thank you very much for tuning in again. And today I have a really, really quote unquote deep topic because what else can we talk about if it is not deep? You get. So yes, this is Kang'ong'oi. I know you're still asking yourself, where's my intro? Hata mimi najiuliza intro iko wapi? Nakwambia nimepelekwa mbio na hii maisha mpaka nashindwa jamani, hata time ya kuedit. Time ya kuedit hizi vitu hakuna. But somebody recommended that I should try out this raw and probably not as much edited recordings of episodes, and I think they're well, just remove the aspect of background music, the aspect of those two small jingles za kwanza na kumaliza. But it's because of course I had told you guys of wanting to change some things a bit, and it is still in the process because there are things I have to figure out, especially on the part of getting views from people and interviewing people. It is something that I didn't think will be this hard. Well, it is easy, but there is some hardship to it that I have to conquer about it. But anyway, that's not topic for today, because today we are talking about calmness. We are talking about composure. Kwa sababu kama umekuwa on the internet hii wiki kama umekuwa on the internet, kama umekuwa kwa my official meme channel, kama umekuwa kwa my pages on Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever, you have seen the trending the trending meme on Twitter of Composure, and it's this guy who's wearing it's some Nigerian dude who's wearing some glasses, and people are using that picture for Composure. And then people also found another photo of him shedding tears, and so people have been creating memes all through the week to just show how different people work with their experiences when it comes to calmness, composure, and when you just feel like you have to break down completely. So people show the differences of experiences when it comes to that, and it is really funny because that is where I got our topic for this week, calmness and composure, because I have literally been on a journey. I don't know if I've mentioned this before in the other 24 episodes. 25 episodes. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but calmness is one thing that I have put a priority over for the past 1 year, because but I had to sit down and check out a couple of things, especially when it comes to healing. Najua hii jina mmesikia sana. Mnashinda mkisema healing kule, healing hapa. Everybody's healing, but we do not see any change in the society. Jameni, ni uongo gani? Jana kuna mahali niliitwa hypocrite. Hiyo iliniuma. Lakini huyo mtu tutaongea naye. But anyway, we're talking about calmness. So when I decided to be on that journey of seeking out what I can make different from myself and the characters that don't actually fulfill anything in me, I realized I needed calmness. And calmness starts from, of course, first making that decision, to be calm in everything that you do. And it starts again, it goes directly to you seeing how you handle your thoughts and the type of thoughts that you entertain in your brain. And for a long time, I have been a victim, let me call it personalized victimhood. Juu nimi najiekelea hizi vitu. I was so used to creating scenarios in my head to get angry at people. You get, like, hatujaongea na wewe, sijafanya kitu na wewe, hata hatuja, lakini nita create scenario kwa akili of something you might probably do, trying to observe you nini, and then naona mtu anaweza fanya hivi, and so I will get angry of people, and then I will now bring that, of course, into my manifestation, into the world itself, by acting out in some funny ways. And unfortunately, I realized that was my first issue. Like, I was so used to looking at people from a point of being disappointed. And of course, probably it breeds from childhood, probably. But I was looking at it and I'm like, niko na mashida. Now, the unfortunate thing about when you recognize these things, or when you become aware of these issues, and then you decide, let me go a different route, let me try and fight this issue. Let me tell you, sasa hapo ndio akili inaamuanga itaamka Pro Max, ikutupia hizo thoughts vizuri, na hata saizo una iron dome kama ya Israel ati ina shoot down all those thoughts. Now it is you now in the process of creating that defensive mechanism of trying to kick out these thoughts. And to be honest, it is not something that I can say I have gotten over it, but I have noticed the difference in between being in your head and being in control of your thoughts and head. And so every time those thoughts try to ravage through my brain, I usually have the time to actually think it over and tell them, no, excuse me, this is my space, and what you're coming to do is not something that I appreciate. So no, I will not go and think about that. So, and in that way, I have seen an improvement, of course, in how I deal with people. I don't deal with them according to how I think they might do things, but I deal with them with the actions I see them doing at the moment. You get, like, at that moment, what type of actions are they doing? What type of relationships do we have with them that you can actually analyze and not look at it from a point of what if this happens, what if, how that question can really ruin your life, the what ifs. What if I was rich? What if my parents were rich? What if I could be having a Range Rover Sport sahi hapa nje? All those what ifs, I think, hold us captive to the past, and probably not even the future, because you're holding yourself completely even in your present. So your future is also held to a point where you can't work on yourself. And so I realized then, how do I then, even when I was thinking about this episode or what I was going to talk about when it comes to this episode, I was asking myself, what then is calmness to me? What is composure to me? And the best definition, juu siezi, nimeona kuna haja kwenda Google kwenda kutafutana na kwenda kutafutana na sijui definitions za kizungu mingi. Let me try and define it from my own perspective after overthinking and overanalyzing. So composure and calmness to me is the art. Nasikia kizungu, the art of being. The art of being in the present, and you being in control of everything that you can see. Now, of course, sawa, you're in the present. Cool. Now, do you guys remember, if you've watched The Avengers and you've seen how Iron Man, when he's Stark Towers, and then he's talking to Jarvis, and you can see him sijui tapping on, all this technology, hii screen sijui zinatokea wapi, anazirusha, unaona hivi, anaweza guza hapa, screen inatokea side, screen inatokea on the left, on the right. You see how that works? Like, it seems like he's in control of a lot of things at one particular point. Now look at that. in the point of trying to define calmness, because it is you seeing all these things happening around you that concern you, of course, and all these things that need your attention, but you are there in the center, and nothing can be done without your movement, and nothing can be done without you thinking over how it has that ripple effect in everything that you do. And so I will categorize that as composure and calmness. You realizing that every single movement that you do, that every single tap that you give out ukiwa hapo kwa hizo screens, because we are thinking right now ni kama sisi ni Iron Man. So everything that you do, you see that realization that one decision or one movement has a ripple effect to every single situation that you have around you. That awareness that you can actually change one thing that is in hindsight by just one movement. To me, that I will call calmness. Because look at this. If you're not calm, or you do not have any composure, anything that happens on these screens, you won't think from the point of you seeing everything around you. You will think from it as, I need to react to this, I need to react to this. This is happening. Oh, sijui kuna kitu inaruka huku. You just react, and you just do any kind of movement to just see if you can solve that without even thinking, why exactly has this particular action been done, or why am I seeing this thing on my screen? You get, or in my life, now that we're talking about our lives. And so that is how chaos comes in. You get, where we are just on the click of just reacting to everything. And I'm telling you, from my own perspective, that reacting is what causes a lot of things that we do not need in our human lives, where we cause chaos even in things that are supposed to not be molded in chaos, especially our relationships, our communities, our, even friends and family, and how we handle conversations. All these things come from a point of reaction. Everything comes from a point of reaction. So I learned how to step back when it comes to looking at things and how my life is moving. And so even as we're talking about this right now, if you sit down and you actually figure it out of how your life is right now, because trust you me, if you're 20 years and above, then you can see like your pillars of life. You're in school, that's one screen. You have family, that's another screen. You have friends, that's another screen. You have your own life to build, that's another screen. You have you have a future to build, that's another screen. And then there's the present you, that you are at the center of, where you can notice everything, that's another screen. And so when you look at that ecosystem, wacha niite ecosystem, trust me, if you're over 20, you can notice that. And if you can notice that, then you need to take that step into realizing that you need to step back and determine, how exactly do I want to do my things? How exactly do I want to create movements that can actually give a positive ripple effect to everything that I'm doing? A positive one that can actually be traced back from one decision that was probably taken 5 years ago. And I think that's how success comes. And right now I am feeling so happy that I came into the realization of that calmness is really the end goal of things, And I won't lie, this realization did not come from me reading books or me sijui having a conversation with anyone. I will not give that glory to anyone else apart from God, because I have been reading a lot of stories in the Bible, and you realize how calmness is a huge thing. Calmness, I'm sorry to get into the Bible, but if you actually realize why Moses did not get into Canaan, it was because he was not calm in some particular moment. You were given an instruction, and the first thing you do is react because you felt anger coming through, because why is God giving grace to these people and they are always disappointing you? And so he decided to do something different from what he was commanded to do. And when you look at such stories and I'm like, you want to tell me that one single event, one single movement can actually cause me to miss out on some good things or some, feeling of success or realization of success just because of one single movement that I did on a screen that I did not even think about. And there's another story actually of Elijah when he was, I'm not sure if it was Elijah or Elisha. One of them was being chased by Jezebel, and it was just after the prophets of Baal had been killed. And you sit there and you read that story. Elisha was being chased. He went into the wilderness and he had to go into this particular cave. And funny enough, the devil was there. He was also, of course, against him. You cannot just live life comfortably when you're literally trying to dismantle every plan of the devil. So he was in this cave and the devil decided to just cause a whole lot of mayhem. There was wind, there was all these types of things that you can think of when it comes to the weather. And he was in this cave. And funny enough, you if I don't know how you know your God, but when he was in that cave, trust me, if it was me and I saw all those things, I would be like, yo, God is with me, like God is here just because of what was happening around. And it was just the devil trying to cause confusion onto him. But I am looking at the type of relationship he had with God, that he actually realized that God does not move in some way to like pride himself in doing some big things, or God is so big that he can move in, he has to show his mighty way of moving. But it was at that moment he realized that my God is calm. He realized that it is only in calmness that God can exist. Do you get that? God can only exist in calmness. And so he waited for all those rumblings of the weather to stop. And then when it stopped, then God showed himself in calmness. And what did he bring? A raven with food. My guys, let me tell you, that is the power of calmness. That is the power of realizing how calmness can bring success into your life. Just to me, this realization did not come at easy, because you also now, when you get such kind of convictions in your life, you have to actually move in a way that you can show that you got a realization that cannot change, but it also has to change your life. You have to take that change that comes to you. And so since then, I've been like, no, let me take a step back, realize every single screen that I have, around me, center myself with a good foundation, and then look at these things not from a point of wanting to react to things, but from a point of where exactly do I give my movements, where exactly do I give up my thoughts, where exactly do I hold off my movements and wait for the right time. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what we call calmness and composure. Because in that, then you actually see things from a different perspective. You can actually say that you can read people. You get? Najua inasound kama jaba ati reading people, but you think about it. If you're calm enough and you do not react to things, then you can actually see what somebody is doing and where it is coming from. If somebody is telling you I love you, or hizi stories za jaba zenye mnashinda mkiambiwa huko kwa DMs zenyu. Hizo stories za jaba zenye mmeambianga, if you're calm and you do not react to it by probably propagating that kind of quote unquote love, then you can see what people are moving in, like what intentions they are moving in. Is it actually love, or is it just lust? Does somebody really want to help you, or they are after personal gains? And it all comes from just realizing you have to be calm and composed in everything that you do. Unfortunately, life has many trials, and when you realize such kind of things, life throws at you many things. And you have to realize, manze, that is the point where you get to learn these lessons. You get to learn how exactly do I handle situations. And when you do that, then you build some sort of discipline, and this discipline is you being calm, is you realizing that you're in control of everything, instead of throwing out your responsibility to other things, or not taking accountability for things that you did in the past or you're doing right now in the present. All these things, you have to remain grounded to understand that there is no other way to be successful than to be calm. You get? And so, yes, this is me giving you a personal experience of how calmness can do a lot of things. How calmness can make you calm. How calmness can bring those blessings that you're seeking. How calmness can bring that kind of life that you want to be in. And so, yes. Thank you very much for listening in. This has been, a rather long episode. I am glad to have finally reached another 20 minutes episode, because kuna mtu aliniambia, jamani, tafadhali rudi kwa 20 minutes episodes. And I love such reviews. It makes me feel that I'm actually doing something to the community that I'm building. So thank you very much for listening in. This has been episode 26. A huge thank you to every one of you. And mimi sasa nitaanza kujituma sasa. Nitaanza kujituma kwa sababu, trust me, if you feel this episode has been a help to you, or it has given you some kind of realization, or it has helped you move closer to where you want to be, please do not be shy. You can give out your reviews under Spotify if you're on Spotify, and also you can come to my DM. You can give your review, and I'll be very appreciative of that. And you can also share to your friend, share to that group that you guys have for accountability checks. Give out to that person who needs this kind of message for them to feel that they are in control of their life. And this has been a blessing. Actually, I will state that I'm at a really, really good place right now mentally. So yes, we thank God, yeah, and we thank Him for His grace. So I bid you farewell. Manze, tunaelekea 30 episode. 30? Well, makofi jamani. Piga makofi hapo mali unasikiza. Piga makofi ukiwa hapo. But anyway, please leave your reviews also at xmunga at the Cordial Podcast on Instagram. And if you want my number, missing a number, miss WhatsApp. But thank you very much for listening to episode 26. See you next Saturday, of course, because I am uploading this right now. Sahi. Have a blessed week. Have a blessed day. And please sleep early. Tafadhali.